Installing Ionic. In this chapter, we will learn how we can install Ionic framework. We will learn how we can install Ionic framework and other dependencies in order to generate Ionic applications. And let us take a look how we can set up and run the first Ionic app together. We have to ready all set up on our computer, whatever a Mac or PC. Before we start Ionic, we have to install dependencies like node.js and Cordova. The first thing we have to do is install node.js if you didn't use it. Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine for building fast, scalable network applications. Node.js uses an event-driven model that makes it lightweight and efficient applications. Node.js Package Ecosystem, NPM, is the largest ecosystem of open-source libraries in the world. We will use NPM to install Ionic and other libraries. Let us move to the Node.js site and download the LTS or long-term support version, which is recommended for most user. Once we have installed Node.js, the next thing that we need to do is install Cordova and Ionic. We can install Cordova and Ionic through npm the Node Package Manager at our command terminal. If you use Windows OS, open command terminal and type npm isntolg Cordova Ionic. When you enter, npm will install Cordova and Ionic. When you use Linux or Mac OS, we have to add sudo first in order to install these utilities globally. Then we can complete install the latest Cordova and Ionic command line tools in a command terminal. Now, we are ready to use Ionic in our computer. Let us check Ionic setting using Ionic command line interface CLI. The CLI provides a bunch of tools through the command line to create and manage our Ionic projects. Let us run Ionic v command. Then we can check the version of Ionic which is installed in our machines. If you want to refer more detailed information, please type Ionic info command. It shows some information about your current environment. Now let us move to the next part, which is about Android and iOS native development environment. In case of Android, we have to download Android Studio and go through the installer and set up the IDE. When we use Apple Mac OS, we have to install Xcode from Apple. You can either do this from the Mac App Store or from Apple's developer portal. Once Ionic is installed, generating applications is really easy. You can simply run the Ionic start command to create a new application. We have to add v2 command to specify Ionic version 2 framework. And we have to add app name and template name after it. We can create an Ionic app using one of our ready-made app templates, or a blank one to start fresh. There are 3 types of templates like blank, tabs and slide menu. Let us generate a new application called My App that use the tabs template. Once our application has been generated, we will move to My App directory so we can do some more stuff to it. After we move to app directory, we have to type Ionic serve command in order to view our application through the web browser. It is special testing environment that allow to show preview various devices platform. When it come to a browser, we can see Android, iOS, or Windows-based Ionic user interface. Let us select Inspect menu when we right-click on Chrome browser in order to see console logs and others. This is very useful tool to debug and test your app later. If you want to stop browsing your app, please move to Command window and type Control key and C key simultaneously. If we want to deploy native apps, we need to add the platforms we are building for. In order to add the Android platform, we can run Ionic platform add Android command. If we want to add the iOS platform, we can run Ionic platform add iOS command. If we are building for both platforms, then you should run both commands. This will set up our application which can be built for these platforms. It brings us to the end of this chapter. We have studied together about installing Ionic framework and dependencies like node.js and others. It was so nice to build the first Ionic app. Thank you for your participation.